Canal Street, Clumber Street, Victoria Centre, Old Market Square. But what do all these places have in common, you're probably wondering? It's knife crime, but not just in Nottingham, it plagues the country. From street to street, this deadly disease mercilessly slaughters countless individuals. People as young as 13 killing or being killed, religiously abiding by the Hunger Games mentality. Yeah, press it, it's fine.
Alright, testing.
How does knife crime make you feel?
I like it. I don't like it.
You don't like it? Okay.
Been stabbed too many times, it hurts.
Really?
Yeah. When I was working the doors.
How did you manage to get into that situation?
Didn't realise you had a knife. So, that's it.
Today I'm in Nottingham City Centre Police Station to interview Chief Inspector Kylie Davies. As someone who oversees law enforcement strategies and community intervention to tackle weapon-related offences, I'm hoping she can give me some well-valued insights. If you'd like to just give yourself a quick introduction and maybe just a little bit about your experience with knife crime.
Yeah, so I'm Kylie Davies, I'm the Chief Inspector for Nottingham City Centre, and I also hold the knife crime portfolio for the force. So we have under that our knife crime team, who are a dedicated resource looking to tackle knife crime, as well as our prevention plan and our engagement plan.
So I guess first I would like to talk about your experiences, because I'm aware that you've also worked in Mansfield as well. So how does the culture of carrying differ between the urban centre of Nottingham and the outlying areas around Mansfield?
So Nottingham and Mansfield are quite similar in a lot of ways. Mansfield's quite a busy town centre. It'd be our busiest town centre outside of the city centre. It has a train station, so with that comes issues possibly around county lines, which is the same issues that we have in the city centre, and exploitation around that. And unfortunately with county lines, drug dealing and exploitation, it's often linked to knives and knife use. The city centre is obviously more concentrated, urban environment, more CCTV everywhere, and you have people coming in from all over to the city centre. So all the areas surrounding the city centre, we have different people coming in, and that's when we can have issues with groups converging together, or the issues that we've seen with regards to individuals targeting people because it is a high traffic area, so knife-enabled robberies, that kind of thing.
Why do you think people do actually target people, especially young people, and what makes them susceptible targets?
So there's a variety of reasons for individuals being targeted. Obviously a great deal of knife crime unfortunately does happen inside addresses and is domestic related. So we do have a lot of ongoing work with regards to that, but with regards to street-based targeting, in particularly young people, a lot of it can be with regards to seeing them as possibly that someone can be targeted. So it's either that they have something that they want, for example, or that they have had issues with them previously. A lot of our issues in the city centre stem from issues between groups that have fallen out, and then because they all come to the city centre, that's when we can see the problems. I think people are worried about knife crime, particularly young people worry about knife crime, and that might make them more likely to carry a knife. The issue there is that all the research suggests that when you carry a knife yourself, you're far more likely to be injured by that knife or another knife than if you weren't carrying one.
And in November 2025, amnesty bins were placed across the county urging people to hand in knives. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So in Nottinghamshire at the moment we have forever amnesty bins at 4 of our police stations. So we've got 2 on the county, 2 on the city. So they are always there year round for people to come into the police stations and hand in knives to go in those bins with no questions asked. However, we do understand the barrier of someone bringing a knife into a police station and perhaps not trusting that it will be as easy as just handing it in, no questions asked, that they have concerns around that. So we've recently commissioned the Ironworks company, who are responsible for the Knife Crime Angel, to make 12 knife crime amnesty banks out of iron for us. So they will go one on every neighbourhood policing area.
With this in mind, do you think that individuals are more likely to rehabilitate and end their dangerous lifestyle if there were no repercussions?
I think, yeah, it's difficult. So recently the government has given out some guidance to all forces with regards to diversionary activity versus prosecution for first-time young offenders. So currently, if it's a first-time young offender carrying a knife that hasn't been used in a violence offence, but we've arrested them carrying it, we would look to do what we would call an out-of-court resolution to divert them from that. That is working with lots of other agencies, with the Youth Justice team, to put a package in place to support that child away from a life of knife crime, and that involves looking at why they're carrying the knife, the reasons behind it, what else is going on in their life that's led to that, and really trying a sort of a whole system approach to deal with that.
It's evident that Chief Inspector Davies isn't just fighting a war on weapons, but navigating a complex social minefield where enforcement must constantly balance itself against human vulnerability. If the police are being stretched to their limits in trying to manage both the enforcement of the law and the diversion of these youths, who is picking up the pieces where the system falls short? Who fills the lonely and hollow void before the police are forced to step in with handcuffs? The answer lies in the very organisation that Davies had championed just moments before, Switch Up, founded by Marcellus Baz.
Grew up in poverty, in a community of deprivation, so there wasn't much opportunities within the community to go and do things, and also when you're growing up in poverty, you don't have the money to do that kind of stuff. And also I've seen a lot of violence at home, domestic violence, the symptoms and of a parent having mental health, and your life and their life being at risk, it causes trauma. Being excluded from school. So basically, when you're going in school and you've got worries about going home or feeling unsafe, and your primary attachment is gone from your mother, and it goes to people on the street, and they become the most important people in the world and your role models, then before you know it, you start to do what they're doing. And if they're selling drugs and they're using violence as a currency, then you do the same.
Do you think it kind of helps shifts their focus away from their trauma and sort of their current lifestyle and kind of into this hobby? Do you think this could also be applicable to other different kind of hobbies? Do you think it could have the same impact?
I'm not really quite sure, because I was working with a professor from Harvard University,
Yeah.
and he says that sometimes when the evolution of man, they had hunters, gatherers, warriors, and some people are always going to be warriors. They're going to have that fighting instinct, that aggression within them, and combat sports allows you to be able to do that.
What Baz reveals is that the journey from innocence to crime is rarely a conscious choice. It is a neurological survival mechanism. When older exploiters offer validation and combat sports offer a controlled release for the warrior instinct, they are filling a vacuum left behind by a siloed government. Baz's insights turn the mirror back onto society. The deep truth of youth violence in Nottingham isn't found in the statistics of weapons seized by the police. It is found in the weight of a community left to raise its children without a village, waiting for an intervention that arrives too late.
Limited cameras, closed space, makes it a perfect place for crime.
Why
And maybe one where it's like goes like that. Right up to the sky.